Hi friends, this is Dr. Christopher. In my last video, I spoke about the problem of obesity in the world and in India. So by now you would have known how dangerous is obesity. So in this video, I'll be talking about what are the causes of obesity, why do we become obese, and what are the reasons behind that. The first and foremost thing what I should highlight is about the diet. What we eat, where we eat, and how much we eat, that determines whether you become obese or not. So initially, high fat diet and high sugar diet, this is what causes obesity. High fat diet means it contains high energy density. What is high energy density? It is actually a small portion of food which has a lot of calories. That is called energy density. When the energy density is too much and you consume that kind of food, automatically you will be having weight gain, and that again leads to obesity. So a diet in high fat contributes to weight gain. At the same time, a diet in high simple sugar again contributes to weight gain. So having food with high simple sugars actually causes weight gain, and having a food with complex sugars actually prevents weight gain. So when you choose a food, if you choose a simple sugar, then you are prone for a weight gain. So also about the frequency of eating. Nowadays there is a research telling that if you eat 4 to 6 times a day, like splitting the portions, the insulin level in your body actually becomes stable, and that actually prevents you from weight gain. When there is more insulin level, when you take a high quantity of food in one time, that actually leads to more of fat storage, and that causes you to weight gain and again obesity. So nowadays we eat foods which are high in salt, sugar, and again high fat. So when we go to some restaurants or a fast food place or a vendor machine or anywhere, those places actually have food which has high energy density, which actually has more of sugars, more of fat, and at the same time more of oil. So these things actually cause us to become overweight or obesity. Having high sugary drinks and having high soda drinks, that again causes obesity. So have a watch on what you drink and what you eat. And many foods which are cheap and which can be easily bought have high energy density, and those things causes weight gain. And the foods which are very good for health actually is being very high priced. That's another reason where the lower socioeconomic status people cannot afford it. So these people, on the other hand, they go for a cheaper food, and at the same time they become obese. So the next one is portion size. Actually nowadays the portion what we eat actually has become unhealthy most of the time, and the healthy ones has become very less. So what you have to do is you have to increase the healthy portion in your plate more, and you have to reduce the unhealthy portions. So you should mindfully eat what you eat, and you should always be aware of what you eat. The next one will be the physical activity. Most of the time nowadays the job has become sedentary. Most of the time they spend time on the computer, and at the same time they sit on the couch watching movies and TVs. When you spend most of your time in TV or computer, what exactly happens is you will be having some snack in between, and you won't be understanding how much you eat and what you eat. So that again causes weight gain. So always have a watch on what you eat, even when you watch TV or having a work on the computer. The same thing applies to the child. Whenever a child has been fed, nowadays it's an habit that they have been shown TV or cartoon or whatever, and when the child is fed, they won't know what exactly they eat and how much they eat. And the parents also think that the child is eating, so they keep on feeding them. So that again causes weight gain, and that becomes a major problem when the child grows into an adult. Make sure that the TV time or screen time is actually less for your child, and make sure that the child is actually playing more on the ground. So more of physical activity is needed to prevent obesity. So on an average, a child actually spends around 7.5 hours in a day on screen, out of which 4.5 hours will be on the TV, and the rest of the time will be on the computers and also on the video games. So make sure your child does not get so much of screen time, and if you reduce the screen time and increase the physical activity, you can again prevent childhood obesity. So the next major thing will be breastfeeding. If a child is exclusively breastfed for more than 6 months, it is actually beneficial, and those child have been observed that they do not become obese in the future. So as long as possible, if you are breastfeeding your baby, it means that you are preventing obesity. So those child who are breastfed more than 1 year, they have shown very good results that these children are not obese. The next problem is genetic. So genetic reasons for obesity. A person is likely to develop obesity if his parents is also obese. It doesn't mean that obesity for such person cannot be prevented. It is possible to prevent if they watch on what they eat and if they do a good physical activity. At the same time, genetics may also affect fat gene regulation. What happens is there is something called a leptin gene. The leptin gene is a gene which tells us to eat less. If this gene is deficient in a person, it means that there is no signal to the brain that we have to eat less. So that person continues on eating and he becomes overweight and he becomes obese. So this is a serious problem. In such patients, definitely there is a need for treatment and it needs to be treated. There are many genetic disorders where the baby is prone to become overweight or obese. These children definitely needs treatment as early as possible to prevent obesity. Next comes the psychological factors. Whenever you are in a depression or whenever you have more of stress or if you don't sleep properly, then again that indirectly causes weight gain. So always make sure that you have a very good mood and there is no stress or no depression. Most of the time people who have emotional disorders or any depression, they tend to have overweight and they tend to become obese. So few diseases which actually causes obesity, such as hypothyroidism, polycystic ovarian disease, insulin resistance, Prader-Willi syndrome, Cushing syndrome, all these things actually leads to obesity. So the medication will be the last part which causes obesity. What are the medications which can lead to obesity? Like antidepressants and anti-diabetic medication, steroids, epileptic medications, corticosteroids and antihistamines. All these medications actually causes weight gain. So make sure these medications are really essential, and if it is needed, you can discuss with your concerned doctor and then you can take. So make sure that you take in a proper way to prevent obesity. So almost in this video you would have got a gross idea what are the main causes for obesity and how people become obese. In my upcoming videos I will be talking about each and every topic, how actually we can prevent obesity and what are the problems each one are facing. So keep watching. Till then, it's bye from Dr. Christopher.